April tells us a very big story for the entire year. We can look back on the first quarter, which is typically the time of year when you have the most buyer activity, the most listings, the most contracts, and you get the higher cost per square foot and the highest sales you see all year. It sets Phoenix up for the rest of the year. It will tell us the story if we look at what history has told us before, what we can expect the rest of the year. So in this video, I'm going to be going through resale activity, new construction, and watch out for those builders. There's some tricky stuff going on, and what is going on with all these apartments everywhere. Well, we're going to break down everything in detail. Let's start with what's going on with resale contracts.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, contracts are down, even lower than last year. And we remember last year was such a low volume of transactions. It was one of the lowest in 30 years. So what happened is we saw so many sellers that as the spring season came to an end, which is going to be in the late April, May timeframe, so it's approaching, that they are going to do what they call delist. We're going to see more cancellations and we're going to see more homes come off the market of the sellers that aren't serious or didn't have to move, I should say. Here's the thing, it's Groundhog Day. I really feel like, again, this data through the end of March will tell us what to expect for the end of the year. We got Groundhog Day all over again. It's not going to be a different market for buyers. It's going to be amazing. And it's not going to be a different market for sellers. Not so great. The appreciation all over the valley also shows this consistency. And I'm going to break that down in a minute. But what I want to talk about is more about what's going on right now. What is the pulse of the market? This is where we take the Cromford Market Index, we take the supply number, the demand number, and we get this proprietary index that tells us what it feels like. What's the competition like? What is the inventory like? What's the overall feel out there, both for buyers and sellers? The higher it is, the better it is for sellers, and the lower it is, and under 90 is considered a buyer's market. If we look at the entire greater Phoenix area, right now we're at a low number of 83. We expected more for 2026. And just to give it a little context, last month we had 82.8, so it hasn't changed. Let's take a closer look at the top craziest 8 markets that we have, good, bad, or somewhere in the middle. Apache Junction with a 147 for demand and a balanced inventory. It means it's a very strong seller's market if you own an Apache Junction. We also have a huge new community out here. Actually, there's quite a few. D.R. Horton is one of the top new home builder sales, and 2 of them are in Radiance in Apache Junction. They're crushing it out there. All right, number 2, not number 2, but letter F. The next alphabetical order, Fountain Hills. We have a demand of 93 that's a little light, but an extremely low inventory. So we have buyers fighting for homes out there. We also have Gold Canyon. These are all kind of in the same area, guys. If you're thinking about it, these aren't in the core cities. These are the mountain cities that are still, in my opinion, somewhat affordable. Fountain Hills is not affordable. Gold Canyon, almost a right on target demand, but we have a huge inventory. So people in Gold Canyon, it is a good time to buy out here, my friends, especially if you are looking for affordable mountain views. Goodyear, tons of buyers, more than usual, but we have an extremely high inventory. It keeps it a good buyer's market. I'll tell you, there's a lot going on in Goodyear. We have Buc-ee's opening up in June. We have a whole Goodyear downtown called Goodyear Square that is just popping up businesses left and right. Goodyear is a city to watch. Peoria comes in as one of the most balanced, strong markets. With the 95 buyer and almost the same for supply, it's right on point for being a balanced market. But is this too little to keep the same momentum up for the 2026 remainder? We shall see. Queen Creek, strong buyer activity, but too many listings. Now, Scottsdale is kind of a world of its own. And although it is lumped with luxury, which would include Fountain Hills, Paradise Valley, Cave Creek, and Carefree, and parts of North Phoenix, Scottsdale, it's just the name. You talk to people anywhere in the world, you tell them you're going to Arizona, where do you say you're going? Scottsdale. And if you ask the average Joe on New York City streets, name one city, and even I'll bet you if you ask them, name the capital, they'll say it's Scottsdale. That is the number one city that has most notoriety in the greater Phoenix area. And with that comes a lot of moxie. It's shopping, it's dining, it's entertainment, it's luxury, it's golf, it is retirement, it is vacation homes. It is the epitome of luxury and lifestyle. You see more Instagrammers now saying they're moving to Scottsdale. Of course, they're in apartments, but needless to say, if you are looking for a specific market that will be consistent and show appreciation time after time after time, Scottsdale address is your should be on your radar. Even today, we have normal buyer demand, which with interest rates, and I don't know, normally it's cash up here, but needless to say, we have good buyer demand, but we have low inventory. And even when we have low inventory, or sorry, higher inventory, we have higher demand. And let me tell you, the numbers in Scottsdale, the price point, let me tell you, you used to be able to find knockdown, rebuilt homes for $2 million. They don't exist under 3 million now. And new construction over 3 million. And as people want to be living in Scottsdale, you will continue to see renovated, newly remodeled homes. You're not going to see new construction by these national builders. They don't want to touch land this expensive. So Scottsdale is a world of its own, and it will always, in my opinion, be a seller's market. Surprise has a very strong buyer demand due to its affordability. And I'll be honest with you, long term, Surprise has a lot of things to offer, but right now it's a very strong housing market with a few little, commercial and maybe some, stores opening up. But overall, it's going to be a buyer's market for a very, very long time. So let's talk about where the values, prices are, and what's going on with appreciation. So when we look at sales price, the median's at 460, where we were at 462 in 2022. So it's flat. If we look at the cost per square foot, we are up 1.1% since 2022. So pretty much we've been flat. So does that mean that everybody has a flat market? No, we're not all created equal. As I've shown you, as the market indexes vary in cities, it also varies by price point. So there's so many different ways to look at different numbers. And so again, if you're thinking of selling, I have another video. If you might be interested in it specifically for sellers. This is really about buyers that are buying in the next 12 months so that they can prepare themselves what the market is today, what to look for, what's going on in the market right now, and what my predictions might be in the near future. Now, the sales prices per square foot, if we break it down by price range, you look at anything under $800,000, it's been a little bit of a dip. Like the biggest dip is going to be in that $400,000 to $500,000 price range, and let me tell you why. That is the first time home buyer. Believe it or not, under 400 for the most part are condominiums and townhomes. And then when you get to that $400,000 to $500,000 price point, remember I said the median price is 460. That is smack dab right in the middle of this. So that's where we've seen the biggest decline year over year, and that's at about a 5% decline. Now here's the thing. Don't panic. Here's the thing. Real estate is a long-term hold. I tell people no matter where they're buying, they should be looking at 5 to 7 years at least. The world changed in 2020. We created our own problem when we saw those 2 and 3% interest rates. People are not moving. And then we saw interest rates go up, and we've created this mess. So once upon a time when you could live in a home 3 to 5 years, actually the rule used to be if you live in a home over 3 years, it made more sense to buy. It's a different conversation today. So that's why you have to give us a call. It's more than just finding a realtor to help you buy a house. It's more about understanding the commitment, the long term, the plan your exit at the beginning. That's what I tell people all the time. So it's a finance question too today. Now, here is something that I haven't seen before. And this is where We are seeing the luxury market turning into two different types of markets. We have the luxury market, which is something that you can find in multiple communities, kind of like Toll Brother Homes, or even some of the older communities where it was all one builder, or David Weekley, whether they're new or resale. These are homes that are familiar. Okay. Ultra luxury homes are homes that can't easily be replicated, even with money. These are true estates. And again, mostly 10 million and above. Even though this cutoff is at 3 million, we've seen more 10 million plus sales in 2026 than we've ever seen before. New construction for these one of a kind, truly unique, uber luxury homes, it's a hot market. And as you can see, 7% appreciation year over year. That's why. Phoenix consistently lands in the top 10 US labor markets and growth metros. Previously ranked number 5 nationally for economic growth, Phoenix isn't the fastest growing job market, thank goodness, anymore, but it's firmly in the top tier and remains to be consistent. In fact, the Phoenix job growth is 4 times faster than the national average, and we have a projected job gain of about 450,000 jobs in the next 8 years. This is a projection 2 years ago, and we're actually exceeding that number. The majority of the jobs are going to be in the Phoenix metro area. Now, what exactly does that mean for housing? It means that we're going to be short unless we continue to build not only new houses, but these darn apartments. Let's break down this apartment nightmare first. So the bigger picture is that jobs equal housing demand, and real estate doesn't move randomly. It follows that job growth and the population growth. When jobs grow, more people move in, more people are moving in for the job so they can qualify to buy, and the rental demand increases. But in the meantime, we're overbuilding apartments and rents are going down. So it seems like craziness is going on. We have private equity firms, we have REITs, which is real estate investment trust. So it's a group of investors that come together, and instead of buying maybe $500,000 or $1 million worth of real estate, they buy somewhere around 50 to 100 million, which is typical for an average apartment, although the larger ones are even more. We also have pension funds and even insurance companies that are getting into the real estate own game. This is not a BlackRock thing. That is a different conversation. These are, again, private equity firms. So when we look at the housing need that is going to be in the short term, we have to think about how we're going to provide this housing on a quicker basis than single family homes. So this means that we have apartments going up that also give the cities immediate tax revenue as opposed to selling a single family home one at a time. Also, they're talking about hundreds of units on a few acres. That also means more condensed homeowners, meaning more condensed shoppers, spenders, people that want to get out and entertain and etc. And this means more tax dollars also going into the cities. So from a revenue perspective, apartments are a good thing as long as they can upkeep the local services, which I mean like fire, police, and infrastructure. The Phoenix metro area, we've seen it blow up. 74,000 units just since 2020. If you forgot, that's only 6 years. And there is another 160,000 units planned and under construction. It seems like we're overbuilding, and maybe for the time being we are. But as you can see, the 430,000 jobs that will be here, we don't have enough housing by any means, which leads us again to new construction. So, new construction, we still have not just the job market that's looking for housing, but we have a lot of people that are moving here for retirement. We have a lot of people that are buying out here for luxury, and a lot of people even that are still buying for investment. In fact, it's the craziest thing. I have heard Section 8 come up more often than I ever have in my 22 years of experience about investors that are going to the state. I feel like these are investors that are coming from these blue states and they're seeing an opportunity that they may have missed in LA or Portland or Seattle, and they're starting to do it here. We're seeing more Section 8 homes out in the suburbs, more specifically, really large homes, and they are paying about 120 to 140% of the normal market rent. There's definitely some downside on Section 8. Definitely do your homework before you jump into that. But it makes sense for a lot of people, and maybe that's where we're going. They call it California 2.0. Oh, all right. Let's jump into new construction. What's going on? Now, new construction is very different. Not all of it is in MLS. And this is also, again, why we recommend that people give us a call, because we just had somebody recently give us a call and they said, I heard this new community has 20 different floor plans. And then from those floor plans have like 5 or 6 options that you can make changes to. How do we get through it all? One call does it all. You just have to give us a call because we have insight. We have a database. We can look up exactly what you're looking for, present to you maybe the top 5 or 6 communities or floor plans, and help you narrow down from this to this to the perfect home. Right now, there's over 4,000 inventory homes. There are almost 3,000 quick delivery homes. So you got to give us a call because it constantly changes literally every day. Think about it. Every weekend, a new buyer comes in, signs a contract, and that one goes off. And every Monday, they have a sales meeting or Tuesday, and they talk about let's bring, 2 or 3 more homes on the market. It's constantly changing. And the internet, in this case, is a little slow. The March market, whether it's resale or new construction, definitely took a hit. So to be honest with you, at the time of this video, April is a fantastic time for buyers to go in and strike when it's hot. These builders are motivated. The average base price, and there's a reason it says base price, not just price sold, but average base price is 609,710. That's what the average is out there right now. The compare that to resale, which is 657,229. When you just look at these numbers, as so many people do, it looks like you're getting a cheaper or less expensive home, I should say, than resale. Here's the thing, guys. This is base price. And it depends on if you're buying a quick move-in, that quick delivery home, which typically builders only put in about 10% of that base price in upgrades. So know that if you're buying a quick delivery home, the incentive is to move into a home quickly. And also the builders are just putting in like maybe the top 10 things that buyers ask for, and it doesn't have absolutely everything. So if you're in a neighborhood that's all spec, know that I don't want to call them lower grade, but definitely need some work afterwards. Like you need to do some additions, whether it's window coverings or cabinets in the kitchen or pullouts in the, cabinets in the, of course they come with cabinets in the kitchen, cabinets in the laundry room, pullouts, things like that. Like it's really going to make a difference when you resell. Let me tell you guys, if you're thinking of new construction, you have to think about that exit at the time you go in. What's it going to be like to sell in that community, whether you stay there 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And the type, again, it's not just about the price. And what I was going to say is if you are buying in a community that has more new builds where people are going in, those are homes that are going to be an upper scale typically, and they're going to have better quality homes. I wouldn't say quality, amenity homes. These are going to be homes that are custom built or custom selected by the homeowner, the buyer, the original buyer, and they typically spend somewhere between 20 and 25% of that base price and they put it in the home. So it's really hard to find out really what that average cost of a new construction home is. So that's why in this data, actually provided by a new build consulting company, that base price is 610. And so here's the other great news, guys. Landscaping is now coming back. Yay! But not in the lower price point. Now, here's the thing, guys, too. On the base prices, when you're shopping just purchase price, it is so hard to compare apples to apples because there are some builders that automatically include in their base price some of these things you might need to add in either if you're building or if you are going to be doing it after closing. And again, just looking at the base prices isn't the right way to shop. Like, for instance, a D.R. Horton price, it looks super affordable. But is there all these things that you're going to have to either add? Well, they don't let you add. They're a spec builder now, but after closing, or if you go up a little bit higher in price, you are getting a lot in that. Everything from like, the taller baseboards, or a higher quality quartz, or even just the sink, stainless steel to, ceramic. It's not just about the base price. And if you guys really want to talk about what builder delivers, you got to give us a call because there's really no cheat sheet and there's no Reddit or Facebook group that's going to give you the whole information like we have right up here. Let me show you what the difference is as far as savings to buyers. So if you are looking at a quick move-in home, you're looking at an average of about $48,000 that the builders are willing to give. And if you're doing a new build where you're picking everything out, we can still get you some great incentives, but that's not where the builders are focusing. So it's, I don't want to say half, but it's only about 30,000 instead of almost 50,000. These are very personal conversations you need to have with this. And now I'm going to give you to the one last thing you got to pay attention to. There is a lot of new listings in our MLS system that are being posted by the builders. They don't have to follow the same, I screwed that up. They don't have to follow the same rules as us realtors. We are held to the highest standard. We have to follow this rule and it has to be accurate and we can get fined if we don't put the right information. Let me show you a great example where this builder put this listing in MLS and we had a lot of people excited and they called us and they were like, look at this home. It's finished and it's only $728,000. They did not disclose that this is the base price, and this does not include anything to finish the home, let alone the lot premiums, which can be rather excessive. So, what you see online is not always accurate, especially when it comes to the builder. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, or weekends. We got your back when you're buying resale and new construction. Give us a call and we'll set up a Zoom meeting. And then we're going to have a personal conversation about what your goals are, what your budget is, your time frame, your needs, your criteria, and we'll customize it just for you. I hope to hear from you guys soon. If you're thinking about selling your home, I have a separate video specifically for sellers because I don't think this type of a market is going to go away for quite some time. And so sellers need to really start planning ahead of time before they're getting ready to sell. All right, guys, I can't wait to hear from you. Give us a call and have a wonderful month, and we'll see you in May.